Well, thank you, Senator Schumer. And let me first set the backdrop here, because our country is seeing the most robust economic turnaround in a generation. Coming from a manufacturing state, we have a true manufacturing renaissance going on, bringing jobs home. It's very exciting. Wages are up. Unemployment is as low as it's been in 50 years. 50 years. And 12 million new jobs are being created, most of them by small businesses. So, what does the Republican Party want to do? What does the House Republican plan do? Destroy the economy. Destroy the economy that is now coming back. The first bill they passed when they took control was to protect wealthy tax cheats. They like to say they're worried about the deficit. 25% was created during the Trump years of all the deficit ever in the country, by the way. But the reality is that what they passed would increase the deficit by $114 billion. Next goal is now passing a brutal set of budget cuts that would hurt every family. If, in fact, they make the decision not to do it across the board, not to cut defense, it's a 30% cut in everything affecting people from healthcare, education, nutrition, veterans, law enforcement, and so on. Slashing healthcare for seniors, people with disabilities, low-income families, cutting crucial funding to repair our crumbling roads and bridges, just as we're now getting started to really rebuild America. And they would defund the police by eliminating 21,000 law enforcement positions nationwide. And as Senator Schumer said, denying 1 million babies access to formula, reducing affordable child care when we know it is critical to have so many of our workers get back to work that child care is a critical piece of this, ripping support away from veterans and undermining our ability to compete against China while compromising our national security. The bottom line of this, and again, this is their plan. This is what Speaker McCarthy promised in order to, after 15 votes, become Speaker of the House, that he was going to take it back to 2022 budget levels. That's what this does. And the bottom line is they would lead to brutal budget cuts that would leave Americans stretched thinner.
Good afternoon, friends. I have exciting news to share with you this Wednesday. Today's the deposit date for checks worth up to $1,050. These checks are part of the latest batch of inflation relief payments that states are sending out. And many people can expect to see this relief money in their accounts today. Also, economists are warning that the United States could default on debt if Congress does not act very soon. Friends, please do me a big favor and watch until the end of this video to hear about all of the details. Also, to say thank you for being here every day and for being part of this community, my friends. I will be announcing 2 winners every week for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you'd like to enter the weekly giveaways, my friends, please click and like several of my videos, and then do comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then leave a comment on, my friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Here is some important news. The Congressional Budget Office announced today that the federal government will be unable to pay its obligations sometime between July and September if Congress doesn't address the debt limit before then. That is when the agency expects the Treasury Department will exhaust its ability to borrow additional funds using extraordinary measures. However, the Congressional Budget Office stressed in its report that its projection is uncertain because the timing and amount of revenue collected and money spent could differ from its estimates. For instance, if income tax receipts in April come in lower than expected because of last year's stock market downturn, the extraordinary measures may be exhausted sooner, and the government could run out of funds before July. The Congressional Budget Office report is yet another warning to Congress that it needs to act soon to avoid a catastrophic default. But House Republicans and President Biden have made very little progress so far in resolving their differences on dealing with the budget cap. The agency also released its 10-year budget and economic outlook, in which it projected major increases in federal budget deficits and debt over the next decade. In addition, the Congressional Budget Office estimates that inflation-adjusted economic growth will come to a halt in 2023 because of the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes. It expects inflation to decline this year and the unemployment rate to rise through early 2024, reflecting the slowdown in economic growth. The United States hit the debt ceiling set by Congress on January 19, 2023, forcing the U.S. Treasury Department to start taking extraordinary measures to enable the federal government to keep paying its bills on time and in full. The actions are mainly behind-the-scenes accounting maneuvers. In a letter to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that the measures would last through June 5, 2023, but the estimate is subject to considerable uncertainty. The White House and House Republicans have not yet found much common ground to settle their standoff over the borrowing cap. GOP lawmakers are demanding spending cuts in exchange for raising the debt limit, while Biden is calling on Republicans to negotiate on reducing spending without holding the debt ceiling hostage. The Congressional Budget Office's projection for the 2023 budget deficit is $1.4 trillion. That's about $400 billion more than it was last May. The shortfall will hit $2.7 trillion in the year 2033. The deficit amounts to 5.3% of gross domestic product this year and grows to 6.9% in 2033. This is significantly larger than the 3.6% of GDP that deficits have averaged over the past 5 decades. So now the Congressional Budget Office projects a cumulative deficit over the next decade will be $3 trillion larger than it estimated last May. This is mainly because of new legislation and changes to the economic forecast that boost interest costs and spending on mandatory programs. Federal debt held by the public is expected to balloon from 98% of GDP this year to 118% in 2033, which would be the highest level ever recorded, as interest costs and mandatory spending outpace the growth of revenues and the economy. It is expected to hit 195% of GDP by the year 2053. Also, my friends, there is an update on state stimulus checks for California residents. Originally, all of the payments from the state were supposed to go out during the month of January, but there were some delays. Debit card recipients whose addresses has changed since filing their 2020 tax returns should receive their payment by the end of the day. This is one of the last batches of payments that are set to go out to eligible Californians. The middle-class tax refund can be worth up to $1,050 for many recipients. So friends, please let me know if you are a resident of California and if you're still waiting for your middle-class tax refund. Well, my beautiful and most amazing dear friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Wednesday. Thank you, my friends, for joining me here every day. My friends, I'll be announcing 2 winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway on Friday. Please make sure you enter the giveaway by clicking and liking several of my videos. And then do comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My friends, the more videos that you watch and then leave a comment on, the greater your chances of winning the weekly giveaways. Thank you, my friends, and have a wonderful and very blessed week.